What's happening, and welcome to another episode of Badass Builds. I'm Sir William, and today we're taking a look at the Mobicon, a 2020 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon that, well, I don't think it's a Rubicon anymore. Let's check it out. Dude, Phil, what's up with the park job? What's going on at camp, bud?
Dude, all this snow is melting and kind of created a little river for us.
You got a full-on,
since we've been here.
Full-on water feature.
Hey, I don't mind. I can, you know, get some little water to wash dishes. And
yeah, works out good. And it worked its way, it weaseled its way right around the tires, which is nice.
Perfectly underneath the truck.
Hell yeah, dude.
What's up, everyone? Stoked to be on the channel, first of all. Thanks, Will. It's been rad hanging out with you the last few months. So, this vehicle here, well, I got to give him a little context.
So, okay, we'll give him a little bit of context. So, I've been hanging out here with Phil for a little bit of time.
A little bit of time.
But not in the same place. It's been different places.
You know, I met you in Missouri. Saw you again in California. We're in Arizona right now. We've had a lot of good times in between. And that's what this vehicle was built for. I went on the road in 2019, and I was in a full-size truck with camper that I loved. It was very similar to this. And it was a big inspiration for this build. But I wanted something that was more capable, that could just get me out everywhere I wanted to go. I came from a Jeep, and so this was in my head as some weird creation that might work, and we figured out how to make it work. So it's a 2020 Jeep Gladiator. It's on 40-inch tires from the front end. That's the biggest thing you'll see sticking out. Dana Spicer Ultimate 60 axles. So
why'd you go so small on the tires and axles?
Yeah, I wanted to be real conservative. You know, this is just a conservative build. What happened there was, well, actually, I bought this hat at 2021 King of the Hammers. About 4 hours later, I found the biggest boulder I could in the dunes at speed, and snapped my front axle clean in half. No fault of its own. It didn't stand a chance. Anyways, that was the can of worms that turned it into what it is today. So we just needed to replace that axle, but we ended up going with the Dana Spicer Ultimate 60s. Glad we did. We got Ram 3500 equivalent dual piston brakes. They're wider, so they handle, you know, this camper on the back a lot better. And yeah, 38 gears, ARB lockers, trail ready beadlocks, and Nitto trail grappler 40s. The thing I love about the beadlocks is, like, in the dunes or the sand, I'll run 4 or 5 really low PSI, and they just go. It just works. It's really fun to drive. Fun to drive was a big motivation.
That's on the front. So obviously we haven't even talked about the back. This part back here is kind of unique and super dope.
Thank you, Will. Yes, this was a big, this was like the whole big project of the truck was the back end. So wanted a camper, obviously. I wanted to be able to stand inside, have interior space to do everything, cook, you know, sleep, everything you need. It even does have a toilet, we'll show you. But there was nothing on the market that fit my needs, or really what I wanted and what I had got comfortable in living on the road, which I think is an important thing. I tried to build a 21-foot Sun Raider, and to be honest with you, I gutted it, and I didn't know what I actually even wanted inside. So I sold it, bought my last truck, spent some time, and then I really knew how we wanted to build this. So what we did was it just took the bed off, started from scratch. These are GenRight front and rear fenders. And then Kevin from Nichols Auto Fab, who was just here enjoying this fine camp with us and this fun weekend, which is a big byproduct of this build, is meeting a lot of really cool people. It's not all about the truck and the best parts and all that. It's that's been a big gain of it as well, and a really fun piece of the process is those relationships. So we, you know, a lot of time talking about exactly what we wanted. Together, we built a aluminum flatbed off of the GenRight fenders, off 2-inch square tube, and we brought that to the good people in Owasso, Oklahoma, Bison Overland. Yeah, we had been chatting for years about this build, and it just really fit right. These guys were the only people that wanted to build what was in my head. So we brought them the flatbed first, because they don't build flatbeds, they build campers. So then they built the flatbed, they built the camper up on top of the flatbed for us. So it's all one piece. It's connected with 6 bolts to the frame, just like the stock bed. But we did hide the 40-inch spare tire. I don't know.
Yeah, and take us through how you did that, because that's pretty big.
If you look at the back end here, drop down table, demo shovel stuff. We have space for that. We don't need a spare there. It's not on the roof because there was no good spot to put it. So what we did was we just chopped the frame in half and widened it so that it would fit. And that was all Kevin's idea. And I would not be comfortable doing that.
And when did you do that? Because you bought this truck new?
Bought it brand new, January 2020. Took it to King of the Hammers a few weeks later and just gave it hell. Had a lot of fun with it stock. Next year we came with 37s, an Icon Stage 8 with, you know, the plans of putting a camper in it soon after. And then I basically came home with a pile of parts. And
then you cut the frame.
And it can't, well, that was one of the things that ended up happening.
And then I just ended up cutting the frame so that way I could fit 40-inch tires underneath it and put Dana 60s on there.
Yeah, and that's why I say can of worms.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was opening up there, but it was fantastic. It's been the best, worst brake accident thing I've broken in my life. But anyways.
That's crazy. How is the camper itself, how's it fabricated? What's it?
So, like I said, we brought them the aluminum flatbed, and on top of that, they built aluminum extrusions that they set FRP composite panels into, and it's all bonded together. It's really, really light. It's insanely strong. It's very overbuilt. It's 3.5 inches thick. Most of their campers are not. We got to know each other through the process, and they knew that I was down to mob and that I wanted something very strong. And
got it.
I got it here. I'm very excited. So there's a 270 ostrich ring on the side. Greg from Pack Racks helped me make these just perfect mounts, and you know, so many things came together. We got Kevin also made a custom rear bumper out of just flat steel, and we got that just right so I can really slam some rocks. And that's the goal with this rig. I'm just getting started as far as the tight spots that I want to get her in, and the body damage we want to do to these. Not body damage, sorry. trail scars. Yeah, no body damage. We might need the Genrite sliders for that too. But yeah, it's just been a dream come true, to be honest with you. I love it more today than I did yesterday, and I keep getting more comfortable. So we should probably show them the inside.
Absolutely, we should show them the inside. But first, so the way that the suspension is set up now, and the way that everything's set up with, how much does this weigh, the back?
You know, we did not weigh the camper before we put it on.
Okay.
And it sounds crazy, but we made it as light as possible, and we put it on right before a show. But there were 2 guys at the back lifting it up as we set the bolts in.
Yeah.
We estimated it was about 500 to 600 pounds.
Yeah.
Then the interior build added weight, but we kept that really minimal. And overall, the suspension is Icon Stage 8 with no tuning, which has been something I didn't know we could get away with, to be honest with you. So it really needs suspension tuning. But when I say that, people are like, oh, it needs. No, I thought for sure it would have needed it already. So it's actually, all things considered,
it's pretty good.
It's doing fantastic.
Yeah, because I've seen you. I mean, you are down to mob, obviously.
Yeah.
And I've seen you. Yeah, I've seen you mob a little bit. And I've seen you mob a little bit here in the Mobicon.
Yeah.
And it looks good. It floats nice.
Thank you. I appreciate hearing that.
Yeah,
I always
floats
wondered.
nice. Yeah, it floats nice. So I was interested in hearing how well it feels whenever. I mean, I've ridden in short distances, but
yeah. It feels real good. You got to be careful about bottoming out the rear end because it doesn't have the tuning. That's where it needs it more. But yeah, more to come on that.
Hell yeah. Well, let's go inside, check it out.
All right, so everything revolves around the table on the inside. This also makes into the bed. It flips out. This was made in Prescott. This is walnut that was salvaged from Prescott National Forest, where we are right now.
That's funny. We are here.
So I think that's pretty cool that we decided to do the walkthrough. Like we said, me and Will have made a lot of places together so far in the short time. And that's this lifestyle for you.
Yeah.
Anyways, details. It's bird's eye maple, and I really, really wanted some. You know, it's the centerpiece, and I just wanted it to look really nice and feel nice, and so it's epoxy. Terry Whipsaw Woodworks did an awesome job on this. So it folds to 2 pieces. So this is where I work. The reason I needed a huge table, or I like I like to have one when I work, is to set this up as a cubicle, if you will. I hate that word, but you know what I mean.
The workstation.
Yeah, workstation. I spent some time in a cubicle, if you couldn't tell.
Yeah, and the workstation, you know, that's actually one thing that I found with this lifestyle. That's the only thing that I miss in my rig. So if you're able to incorporate it, just a spot to do whatever kind of work you need.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I make YouTube videos, Down to Mob. Check it out if you didn't catch on there yet. But yeah, a lot of time editing here. I've got drawers to the side. This is my kitchen. This is a super mini little kitchen. And I've got, you know, in this drawer, I've got my mouse and things for the computer. And then in this drawer, I've got all sorts of random stuff, but mainly cutlery and things for the kitchen. And then these actually come up and click up with some hood pins. This is my 1-burner little stove. Minimal. This is all very tight and small. I think this is like 11 inches out to here, so it's not big. But I made this entire kitchen. I built the whole interior with Kevin from Nichols Auto Fab in his front yard while I slept in his 4-wheel camper. But this kitchen was just me, and this was my biggest aluminum extrusion project. I'm pretty proud of it. I love aluminum extrusion. And then this one clicks up for the sink, and we've got all that going. So I love it.
Dope. And then what are the benches and everything made out of over here?
So this is a piece of aluminum. This is one piece that was bent and broke there 90 degrees. Welded up, you know, Kevin welded up this corner, making everything just tie together. So this one piece of aluminum is extremely light. It's got 1-inch brakes over it. And then the same is on the bottom. It's just bolted into the bottom, so it's extremely light. This is a balsa wood birch combo of wood. So the balsa wood's extremely light, and then the birch makes it strong. Thank you, Jimmy, 365 Camper, for that, man. That was the last piece of wood in Prescott like that, apparently.
That's dope.
It's also got a seat slide on it. That's like a marine seat slide. So that, yeah, I'll show you, like you can move all around the camper like that.
Yeah.
You can actually flip this whole piece up against the wall and pull this pole out, and it clips in, and you have a ton of cook space if you really want to go crazy.
If you really want to throw down in the 1-burner there.
Yeah, I don't ever do it. I leave it like this 99% of the time. But it's cool. I can be working and I can boil coffee or water that will be coffee, and then yeah, cook stuff, get into all that.
It's pretty dope.
Thanks, man. It's such a small space, but you see it on the outside, you get on the inside. The consensus seems to be, whoa, this seems bigger than I thought.
Yeah. When we went to King of the Hammers, we were able to just pull this thing up, and we had like a mobile chill lounge everywhere we went.
Yeah.
And that is by far the coolest. And even though it seems kind of small in there, we fit 5 grown men in there.
And like, comfortably.
Yeah.
Like this spot too, it was raining. We spent a few hours.
Yeah.
We came out, get more drinks and stuff, but yeah, you can spend a lot of time in here, and that was a huge goal of the camper, and that's a big reason we built a custom flatbed that's 10 inches lower than any other Gladiator flatbed you'd throw on that's on the market, so that when the top's down, it's like about here. It's comfy enough to where I don't think about it, and it's not too claustrophobic, and I can sit, edit, spend a day even or two. So if I'm sleeping in a Walmart parking lot or something like that, I don't pop top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can still sit at the table and work and do all that.
Sit at the table, work, sleep. You got tons of space. This is more space with the top down in the bed than a cab over with it popped.
That's cool.
That's another reason it's not a cab over camper, which everyone wants to know, because 90% of them are. Most are that way. But yeah, the interior build came together. I've got a wrap-on dry toilet that we actually put into the dinette here.
Nice.
So it's
that way you can shit at your dinner table. I like it.
I mean, it's tiny living on its own, you know. And so you press that button, and it hermetically heat seals a bag, and you throw it away.
How sick is that? That's cool.
I mean, it's so easy.
Yeah.
I had the cassette toilet in the Dodge Mahal, which is right there. Took her to the Arctic Ocean.
Yeah, so I was going to say, one of the really cool things that I like about your build here is the fact that, you know, this ain't your first rodeo.
No.
This is, you know, you've been living on the road, you've been living tiny, you've been doing it, and you actually had a really badass, what most people be like, why the hell would you go from something that big to this?
Yeah.
But we were talking about it, it is sacrifice, right?
Absolutely.
But the main thing is you can bring this thing anywhere you want to go.
Anywhere.
And that's what's so sick about it.
Yeah, and so anywhere, here is the caveat, because there's always something. Anywhere that it will fit.
Mm-hmm.
So far, I've got it between two trees, and it's like was pretty stuck. And if I would have kept going forward, it would have been bad. And so I was like, but essentially, so far, anywhere it fits. And yeah, this Dodge was amazing. It was built by Brian Dorr of Exploring Elements. He also knew what he was doing. So taking that experience of living in that, you know, going to the Arctic, having all the scenarios, sleeping in your friend's driveway, like everything. This truck, I don't have to think about. If someone invites me somewhere, I can go and be comfortable. Yeah. Anywhere.
You're not worried about where you're going to park. You're not worried about where it's sitting. Yeah.
Where you're going to poop.
Yeah, where you're going to poop.
Seriously,
yeah.
all the, yeah. So that's been great.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, and then the windows are really awesome. They're turn overland windows. Open up. The big rear window is just amazing, and then the door is a turnoverland Wildlands door too. Pretty neat. Anything else in the interior?
Onboard power. There's a little bit of onboard power on board. We forgot.
We're on the same page, Will. I'm right here with you. Literally was about to press the Red Arc. So this is the Red Arc Red Vision. That is a solar charge controller and battery isolator to charge while the truck's driving, and also this whole...
It's the brains of the operation.
It's the brains, man.
Yeah.
You got the app on your phone, so I can be sitting at the campfire, and that's my favorite part, is turning the lights on and off.
And it's a switch. It's a switch unit too, right? It's an all-in. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So you've got, you know, all your scene lights.
Yeah.
On the side, you've got interior light here, little fan in the corner. This is the roof lift, so it's an electric scissor like roof lift system. This was the very first one that Bison did like this, and it worked great. So they knew what they were doing on that.
Awesome.
I guinea pigged that, and yeah, it's been working great. Also, the pop top, I will say, this vinyl is the best I've ever felt and seen. Of course, I'm biased, but it's thick. It's got
Sunbrella, right?
It's Sunbrella with thin insulation, and it's just extremely well insulated, even in very high winds, 50-mile-an-hour winds.
I was gonna say, what's kind of the highest winds, because it winds out here, brother.
50, 60.
Winds.
Highest winds that you will ever encounter. I mean, for the most part, you can have it pop for sure.
That's awesome. It doesn't make a whole lot of noise either.
No, the vinyl really doesn't move a ton because it is so heavy. And then all of the walls, this is a neat feature.
Nice.
All of them do that.
Yeah, that's cool.
And you'd think, at first I was like, well, when am I going to need to open all the way out? Well, hold on. I got something on my roof rack right here.
Yeah.
So I'm building a rooftop box is one of the next big projects, and I want to have a hatch where I can access it from the camper right here. You want me to show you?
That's pretty dope.
Show you the view?
Sure.
That's pretty sweet, right? Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that works great at Hammers. I had that back one down.
I call this the taco window.
Yeah,
right
yeah.
That was, dude, this is sick. So how many, we talked about the Red Arc system, but how many amp hours are you running?
Yeah, so 200 amp hours of Dakota lithiums. Love those batteries. They work, I think it's up to -40, which I say, every time I say it, it's like, what?
-40 seems crazy.
But they were built, they used them a lot for ice fishing and things. So anyways, those batteries have been great, and I have 370 watts of the ZAMP Obsidian panels covering the entire
Wait, how many watts?
370 watts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Been a really good balance. The only time I have to be on my toes with power is we're at camp for multiple days. It's gloomy, rainy, and I'm in here trying to edit and draw the most power. But sunny days like this, and especially when I'm hanging out with Will and not editing as much, I don't need as much power.
Whenever I'm hanging out with you, the only drawback to hanging out in the box is the fact that I can't just reach over and grab a beer. So where do you keep your cold beers?
So we were gonna do a pass through. I was gonna take the back window out, and I just can't bring myself to cut a hole in this nicely sealed camper. So my fridge is in the back. This is actually a Set Power 45 quart dual zone, one of the smallest dual zones I've seen. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, you gotta hop out to use it. The thing is, when you're already outside, you don't have to go up the stairs to get a beer. You just go over here. But,
yeah, so take us through what you got in here, because this is a whole build in and of itself.
The back seat, took that out, did the goose gear seat delete. This was actually a prototype. So yeah, I don't think he sells this version with that logo, which is kind of neat for me. And anyways, Brian's awesome. So the goose gear seat delete went in there real well, and then we kind of used that as a base to build everything else. There's a 21-gallon water tank on the other side. Also food, of course, teriyaki sauce, some soups and things. They just fit right there real nice.
It's amazing how that turns into the pantry.
I mean, you got to make use of every space.
Yeah.
You know, and easily accessible. But this is where the Red Arc lives. This is, it's a big unit. I mean, it does a lot, so it's worth it. But I got it really tight in there. This was the first aluminum extrusion project I think I ever did. And the batteries right here, this is 100 amp hour. And then there's one more on the other side in the same spot. The inverter's underneath my seat. It's just stuffed in there, honestly, but it works really good.
That's awesome.
And yeah, I wanted to keep the weight low and forward, you know, as much as possible to keep weight out of the camper. So that's where it does pay off. You got a fully loaded fridge. It's down low in the front a little more. And this is the friend's door. Of every sticker here is someone I met in person who handed me their sticker. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, I love it.
Well, and then you got the friend's table, which is
this
back
is a
here.
new addition.
So the friend's table, let's first start off with, this is just a handy little spot to access
Turns
stuff.
out turn overland cargo hatch. Some people put them up here on struts, and that can be, but when you do it like this, it's
you got a table, which is nice. A flat spot in this lifestyle is a necessity, and it's never too many.
Absolutely. No, really, like the table on the back, the aluminum table, I don't use it. Honestly, I don't even think we've really used it much. But sometimes I do, and it's so light, and having it there is great. If I want to really cook outside, it's there. This is super fun if we're just at this side of the truck. You know, and you want a flat space. And then the toilet, you can see here, we took it out of its frame and built its own frame to squeeze it in there. You grab the bag out here and throw it away. It's great.
Which is really cool, because those toilets are nice. I think we were just discussing this. I don't know, so we'll let the fact checkers show us down here at the bottom.
Yeah.
I think that toilet was made for Japanese crane operators.
You said that, and dang, I hadn't heard that in a while, and I do believe so as well, because what else? That'd be pretty tough to do your business up on a Japanese.
Or to climb down. Jeez.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, climbing down.
Yeah. So
anyway,
the friend's table.
So the friend's table at Hammers, I think you were wanting to sign something, or you brought it up, and I was like, yeah, we need to get something.
Yeah, I wanted to sign the wall.
Yeah.
But this works.
This
even
works
better.
So good. I can show people. I see it all the time. I can see it poking out, because you can, if you look, I pull my bagels and my cacao powder out. Thanks to Jen, I recommended that. I like that now. There's the other side. It goes all through there.
That's cool.
Which isn't really a benefit other than it's fun.
Max Air fan on the side.
Yeah, I don't really need that one there. I have one on the top, but I was doing the interior build in summer in the valley in Arizona, and it was hot, and I was like, I can't have enough fans. Turns out you can.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I want to remove it and actually try to stuff like an air filter in there, so I have at Hammers, or when it's dusty, I can cook and have ventilation without getting dirt.
Good idea.
Always some. Probably putting a wood stove in it too. I mean, I do have it. It's not in yet. The cold weather's going away, so my motivation to put the wood stove's going away, but then it's going to get cold again next winter, so.
Yeah. Well, that'll be dope to have the wood stove in there too. So there went the whole thing about cutting a hole in the side of your pretty camper, though.
Oh yeah. Well, there'll be more holes cut in the camper and the truck. This is still just, I mean, it's not the beginning, but like I said, I'm falling in love with the truck a lot more, and I think I'd really like to see it with a V8 and 42s, because Nitto makes a real nice 42. We made it so we can fit a 42 in the spare, not just to fit the 40. We're thinking
so you wouldn't even have to cut anymore.
No, it's all set. She's ready for 42s, other than power.
It's crazy how in this lifestyle, I've never met anybody that is 100% happy and dialed with their current setup. They constantly want to tweak it a little bit more, which is what makes it fun, which is why this is so badass. The evolution of it will be even more badass. The more trips you do, the more miles you put on it. How long have you been in it in its current, like right now?
Almost a year.
It's pretty dialed.
Yeah. Almost. It's been almost a year I haven't done anything on it. So it's good that you bring that up too, because I need V8 42 is cool. Is that my goal today, tomorrow, this month, the next few months in summer? Absolutely not. I have so much life I want to go live, and this truck just allows me to do that. But having the cool parts, it's also the biggest project in my life, and it's been the most successful as far as something that tangible that I have to show for it. So I like that, and I like the personal growth with it, but I like enjoying it too. So yeah, almost a year. It hasn't, it needs a few things, and again, suspension, but almost a year I've been like, okay, we're just gonna use
live
it.
Yeah.
And I've figured out a lot, and I'm glad I didn't put a heater in it right away, because I spent the better part of this last winter living off grid at in a tent, Kodiak canvas tent with a wood stove, and fell in love with that process of processing wood and the dry heat, and it's the most work, but I love it. So as life evolves, the rigs do. But
that's awesome. Well, any big trips planned?
Trying to figure out what to do for summer, Easter Jeep Safari's on the radar here. That's coming up soon. Overland Expo, love connecting with people at those events. But yeah, we'll see if I make it up into Canada this summer or not. If I don't, it's gonna probably be because of Colorado and Wyoming, and hopefully new places also. I really would like to go to some new places, and honestly, since I've had this truck, I haven't really floated with, oh, you go there, should I go there, and you meet someone, and I haven't done that. When I first went on what I'm getting at is, when I first went on the road, there was nothing else. There was no off-grid property, there was no future mods, and I like having those things, but I'm gonna settle back into that for a while. That mindset. Just
kind of float around.
Just enjoying what's in front of me.
Staying
productive, working on projects and other goals, that we have to do different things with the brand, because I make YouTube videos and I love it, but that changes a lot, and yeah. Oh, it's evolution, but also enjoying the moment.
Sweet.
And this lifestyle allows me to enjoy the present more than anything I've ever done.
Hell yeah, dude. Where can they find you at?
Down to Mob Overland, YouTube with the number 2. YouTube, Instagram, those are really the ones. Downtomob.com as well. But yeah, thank you guys for watching.
Oh yeah.
Will's definitely down to Mob. There's no question. I haven't seen anyone that drives a stock-ish 4Runner that hard. There's no question. So, but the question is, are you down to Mob?